Welcome to the channel. I am Ladewaybac, and today I'm going to do a quick guide for Jacko. So this is going to be for newer Jacko players, so you could just watch a quick video, hop into the tower, and get some wins. I'm going to split this guide into 3 different sections. First one will be for zoning, second will be for pressure, and third one will be for combos. Alright, zoning. So we can place our minion and we can kick the minion. We just hold it and throw it. Another thing we could do is we could cancel the kick into a hold. So then we can throw 2 minions at the same time. Not at the same time, but you know, close to each other. And if you want to cover a different angle, you kick it, jump back, throw. Another thing you could do is you could dash backwards and throw. And another way, if you're trying to play keep away, you can jump, hit the minion to have that go towards your opponent, and then do a dust attack afterwards, making it very difficult for your opponent to get in on you. You can do this with kick too, or you can do it with a heavy slash. Another important thing to do when you're making contact with your minions is to minion attack afterwards. Now you don't want to do it too fast and you don't want to do it too slow, right? Because we can do 2 of these, right? This will also bait our opponent. Let me say that now. But the reason why you don't want to do it too fast or too slow is I'll show you right here. We'll have our opponent do a standing punch, right? So we do it too fast. Alright, we have our opponent doing a punch afterwards. We do it too fast, he'll just end up automatically blocking both. We do it too slow, he'll just end up killing the minion and we get no minion attack off. We do it just right, then we get a hit. Do even better than that, right? And then the minion is still alive. So it is important to get this timing down with Jacko. As you keep playing Jacko, it'll come to you naturally, trust me. Now, another thing you can do is guard command. If your opponent wants to hit your minion afterwards, just guard command. If you're not looking to get the damage. Well, you do get damage off the guard command, but if you're not looking if you're looking for a different kind of setup, then guard command is great, because you guard command, you run, kick the minion, and then just dash into your opponent, because that's something new that Jacko could do in Season 2. You can kick the minion and run in, right? So we can just guard command, kick, go in, and now we're in on our opponent. One last thing when it comes to your minion attacks is you want to also time your minion attacks if you're doing them back to back, right? So instead of doing 1, we could do 2. So if your opponent blocks 2, then you can just do 3. You know, that's if your opponent blocks 2, because you want to get the timing down. You don't want to do fast. If you do too fast, they'll just automatically block it all. So you do 2, you want to get a hit there. Do 2 fast ones, and then time out the last one. So yeah, you want to get your timing down with the minion attacks. And lastly, to wrap up zoning, I just want to say that be aware of where your minions are. And, you know, you could always do a cool little serve and shoot here or there, or something like that. So, you know, use your minion shoot creatively. You can also do something like jump and then kick it right off of that. You know, stuff like that, right? You know, just be creative with your minion shoot so it can throw off your opponent, so they're not always ready for your zoning. And if your opponent is killing your minions before they make contact, then what you can do is just do an early minion attack. So when you think he's going to go for it, then there's a minion attack early, or just do a defense command early, and then you'll gain the advantage that way. So next up, applying pressure. Now first, before we get into the pressure, is the game plan for Jacko. The game plan for Jacko is to get a hard knockdown, like so, or get our opponent into the corner. Those are the 2 things we really want with Jacko. So if we have our minion on the opposite side of our opponent, that's a perfect time to go for strike throws and frame traps. So we're just applying pressure, and then we can get a grab out of that. That's what the strike throw is all about. Or we can go for frame traps, right? We'll have our opponent do a crouching punch. And then we'll have our minion behind him so we can combo afterwards. So you can do a close slash into a heavy slash. So you time it right? So you do too late, you're just gonna get hit, and you're gonna get counter hit. So perfect timing, you get your counter hit. Wait, and then hit your heavy slash. So if your minion is on the opposite side of your opponent, you get a combo. Now if your opponent is onto your strike throws and he's just blocking every single grab of yours, that is the best time to jump. And if your minion is still there, you'll still get a combo. Now if your opponent is blocking your advances, which are your best tools to get in on your opponent, is to go for the 2D or the heavy slash, since they travel so far. So if your opponents are blocking that, you can finish with a servant shoot, which will, if your opponent is hitting a button, they will get counter hit, but if they're doing a DP or an overdrive, you will get caught out by that. So here, I'll show you here. Vapor thrust. You do a servant shoot, we're getting hit. So if your opponent is using DPs and overdrives during your block string, just use minion recall and you will be safe every time. So that's for DPs. Now that will be safe for everything except like except if you're close and they do like a fast button like crouching punch, then you will get hit here during minion recall. So if you have a masher, be wary of this. Now if it's something like close slash, then you're still safe. So you won't get a big combo damage on you, but you can get mashed out on. Also, if your opponent is blocking, you can summon your minion, right? You do something like this. Jump up, hit your minion, go in. Throw a minion attack in there too. Also, another thing you can do is jump forward. Now you have your opponent or your minion on the opposite side of your opponent, so you keep the block string going. And another cool thing you can do is this is a really good thing to do for Jacko, is to hit your opponent once and summon a minion right afterwards. Now that's very hard to react to because it's a light attack, and the minion comes out really fast, and you can attack again really fast too. Which can lead to some great combo situations. So I wouldn't recommend that you do it after the sweep and summon and go for it, because your opponent will be ready to attack you back. So you do the one attack and then you just go for it. And also you can place a minion defend command, because you know they can't attack you after that, and just go in for a grab. On to the corner. Now I suggest you come up with your own corner strategy, something that you're comfortable with, but I'll show you what I like to do when I get my opponent to the corner. I like to go for a lot of grabs, because you see the big blocks done here on the minion attack. So if my opponent's on the ground, I throw it, it lands on them, easy time to grab. As long as you know the block's done, you always get the grab after that. And you know, obviously if they're jumping, then you can attack. So it lands right, you already know when the time to grab, so instead of grabbing, you attack there. So it's kind of like a 50-50 in that sense. And if they're blocking your grabs, just like I've shown you before during the strike throws, you can just jump and then get a counter hit. So use what I've shown you throughout the video to come up with your own kind of corner strategy. Well, right now what I'll show you is I'll show you an example of what I do when I get my opponent in the corner. I'll just do whatever comes to mind, and you can take what you can from it. So nothing really has to be set in stone. Just kind of do your thing, man. Just do your thing. Make sure your opponent just can't find an opening, and then throw in some grabs in there. You know, he'll be like super stressed out. You know, something like that. You know, come up with your own kind of strategy, and you'll make it a nightmare for your opponent. I'll tell you this much: usually when I'm winning a match, I'm usually winning it out of the corner. Lastly, for the corner, I'll show you what you can do with your overdrive. Now this is the overdrive. That makes your minion bar go up really fast. And also, a cool thing with it is, instead of your minion dying after 2 hits, it's pretty much infinite. Well, not infinite, but as long as your overdrive is active. So you just keep kicking them around and he won't go away. Alright, so what a lot of players do when they get their opponent in the corner is they'll get their overdrive off and go for a very long block stun. So you keep doing that until you see the risk gauge is all the way up, right? And when you get your wrist rate gauge all the way up, that means you can set up for an overhead or go for a low, and it will be a counter hit, and then you just kind of go to town on your opponent right after that. And that is my quick guide to Jacko. I tried to make it more compact, but this is the shortest I can make it because, you know, it's Jacko. There's so much to her. But with this information, you should be able to just go into the tower and get some wins. I guarantee it. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for daily fighting game content. Thanks for watching.